Did you know that the first Games Awards were in 2014? And the game of the year then was Dragon Age Inquisition. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 107. My name's Gareth Briley. I am your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How are you doing, James?
Hello there. I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm not so good. I've had a tooth taken out this week, so I'm in a lot of pain. I nearly forgot what the podcast was called then, so it didn't bode very well for the rest of it.
Don't worry. We'll carry you through.
Thank you.
We're here to support you.
Good. And on my virtual right is Mr. Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
Hi, I'm good. I'm not going to moan to you because you've obviously had a bad few days.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yes, yeah,
Good.
not too bad. Bit tired, but not too bad.
And on my virtual opposite, because it's a foursome, is Mr. William Caruana. How you doing, William?
I'm doing okay. A little tired.
Yeah.
Too much caffeine, but I'm doing fine.
It's early for William because he's in Canada. I always like to say this, remind people. And we are now going to talk today because this is their Games Awards special. If you might have noticed that by the intro. Some people stayed up last night and watched it live. I watched it today, during the day, or 3 hours of it. I'm just going to go around to each of you first of all. We're going to go through the highlights and then we can catch up on things that I might have missed. Do you think it was a good Games Awards? Richard, what did you think?
No, not really.
Ooh.
There was a couple of surprises, but I think a lot of it seemed to be stuff that had been there before or stuff that was announced at Summer Game Fest. And I still felt there was very few actual release dates announced for stuff.
Good. That's Richard's comments. That's good. William?
Yeah, it was a letdown, to be honest. It wasn't bad. You know, it wasn't. I wasn't sitting back going, I completely wasted 3 hours, but I think I put something on Twitter like Senua's back must be really hurting from carrying that show, and I stand by that. Nintendo brought nothing. Sony brought virtually nothing, like a recut of the Horizon trailer. Xbox at least brought something, but even then they tend to bring a bit more usually. But then again, I can't complain. They brought 6 minutes of amazing gameplay that we'll get into.
Yeah.
And then other than Senua, there wasn't a ton of stuff that I'm like, oh wow. Like, I think Keeley was saying back when we have 4 or 5 Elden Ring level reveals, and I'm like, you had like 1.5. I'm sorry, man. And I'm not even that big on Elden Ring.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
You wasn't too down. And well, the person I can turn to is going to be optimistic about the whole thing is James. Jason.
I feel like I need to inject a little bit of hope. I thought it was alright.
Yeah.
I mean, a bit long, because the game was cutting out a little bit, but I was happy enough. It wasn't fantastic, but it was, well, I wouldn't say 3 hours well spent, but it was alright. I thought it was alright.
Oh, that's a thumbs up from James.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
For me.
It was polished, you know. It was all very the awards in a sense become second. You know, it's an award show really, but they don't really matter. Especially they did a few. You know, we'll do the awards at the end maybe, but they didn't. They had a few awards that they had special guests come to say hello to, and then at one point they just went, and these are the winners for all these categories, and just lifted them through. And that was it's a second strand of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
It certainly was.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go straight into, I think probably, I know it was Williams, and I think Richard's Hellblade 2. we saw some actual gameplay, a little kind of section where Senua takes on a kind of giant in this kind of sea cave with a kind of other bunch of warriors. And yeah, we got to see it in kind of action. That was a mixture of sort of cutscenes and action linked together quite seamlessly. Thoughts? I'm going to go around the table. William, first of all, what are your thoughts of this 6-minute sensation we saw?
Just, that is super impressive. Like, when you take a look at that, if you take a look at the details, the work, I think they did a really amazing job on this. The animation work is top notch. The environmental effects, the fire. Oh my god, the fire! But beyond that, it just looks like more Hellblade, and I mean that in the best sort of way. Hellblade is an experience that I believe is unparalleled. There's really nothing else like it. And this is a return to that style, but also bringing it to the next level. I was thoroughly impressed with this. I think Ninja Theory is probably among the best studios they've picked up. I think this is the type of game that Xbox really needs as well, to show that they have something that, you know, can compete with the God of Wars and Horizons of the world, and I think this compares very positively to them, and just really impressive stuff. I cannot wait to play more of it. Well, to play it.
Yeah.
See more of it.
James.
I think William done it up quite well. I think they created a brilliant soundscape. I mean, the whispering and the weather effects and everything, even just on basic headphones, it sounded fantastic. It looked fantastic. And I think the fact they showed us that little bit means what aren't they showing us? There's going to be some fantastic, I think, sections in this game, and I couldn't be more excited. Even if I'm a little bit unnerved, it is still quite creepy. I was very creeped out by the first one. But yeah, it looked great. I think it would be fantastic.
Richard, you feeling the same?
Yeah, I'm one of the few people that still needs to play the first one, but after watching that, I think it's bumped it up the backlog a little bit more. Yeah, it does look just stunning. I wasn't overly impressed with the. I mean, I'm nitpicking here, but I wasn't overly impressed with the spears that got thrown. They just seemed to sort of disappear once they hit the giant. But other than that, I think, yeah, that was my one tiny issue with it. Yeah. Other than that, I thought it was a brilliant gameplay reveal. I still think it's a long way off, though.
What did they say? Did they say anything? Did they say 2022?
No. 2023, according to internal leak documents.
Oh, okay.
But other ones say late 2022, like Halloween.
Right.
I put my money on, like, I think this is going in the Naughty Dog slot, for lack of a better phrase. I'm talking like late June. I think that's when we'll see it. Late June 2023.
Right, okay. It's quite amazing, really. I kind of watched it and I remember I bought Hellblade on the PlayStation 4. And it came out in sort of like June one year. And it was sort of getting 80s, maybe 8 out of 10s. But it was and it was also cheap. It was $24.99, I think, when it first came out on that. And I don't think a lot of people were aware of it at all. Like you say, when Richards just said, I haven't played it yet. I don't think a lot of people have played the first one. It is a kind of very special game. Yeah, I'm really excited by that. Really excited. Good. That was one of the top things. I'm going to go through a couple of things now, which I sort of highlighted, and these are more. We don't really know anything about them, but they're kind of like they're announcements. Star Wars Eclipse, a new Star Wars game. We saw a kind of trailer, a CGI trailer, showing lots of Star Wars people and some drummers. That I thought was Voldemort, the drummer. I thought it was Voldemort from Harry Potter.
It's a crossover.
Yeah, so I thought it's a crossover. This is by Quantum Dream. The people who do, what do they do the PlayStation?
Hard Rain? Heavy Rain.
Yeah, Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain, sorry.
I know that stuff. We don't know much about this, do we? Is it fair to say?
I know a little bit.
Go on, James, what do you know?
I know that it's set in the High Republic era, like when the Jedi's were pretty much bossing everything. And I think you get to play as different characters, and their stories like are shaped by what you do.
Right.
But yeah, it's gonna be an action adventure. That's pretty much all I know. Yeah, I think I saw Yoda. So Yoda's probably in it.
Oh yeah, who's looking out my window, isn't he?
Yeah.
William, do you think it's going to be like another Quantum Dream game, that type of...
I honestly have no clue. I've heard rumours of everything from this is typical Quantum Dream to this is Uncharted-like action-adventure with Quantum Dream elements to this is open-world sandbox, but also Quantum Dream. I couldn't tell you.
No.
I think we need to see more, obviously.
We don't know.
Decent little trailer to go, we're making it if you didn't hear the rumours, but that's about it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's really early on development, isn't it? So it's...
Oh, yeah.
So it's...
like 2024.
Yeah. Richard, you got anything to add to that about Star Wars? Are you excited?
No, yeah. I don't even know what consoles it's going to be, but with it being Quantum Dream, I think it's likely to be PlayStation only based on what they've previously done. But yeah, any Star Wars is good Star Wars, and I think Quantum Dream can certainly tell a good story.
Right.
But yeah, like I say, we just need that little bit more information, but it'll be a while before we hear anything more, I think.
Well, for even less information, let's do the next one, which is Wonder Woman. There's a Wonder Woman game coming out.
Mm.
Who's doing this Wonder Woman game?
Monolith.
Ah, okay. Right. That's all we know, isn't it? We don't know.
We're going to see more of the Nemesis system. They'll definitely use Nemesis.
Oh yeah, they've trademarked it, haven't they?
Mm.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see what they bring into is it Themyscira, the world of Wonder Woman? It's interesting to see what kind of enemies they bring in to populate it. Because I presume it would be similar to the Shadow of War and Mordor, where you wander around conquering different areas. It must be similar. Otherwise, I don't know how it works.
Well, it could be. I suppose it could just be actually adventure. It could be like the Avengers, just going around hitting generic enemies.
Well, can we help now? I mean, I was quite excited when I saw Wonder Woman. And now you're putting me off.
It could be loads of robots you'll be fighting for hours.
Loads of different Amazonian warriors that look exactly like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Richard's really excited about this, aren't you, Richard?
I don't understand how you can get excited about this trailer. I mean, yeah. They're doing a Wonder Woman game, but just it might as well have been tweeted out from Warner Brothers saying, we are doing a Wonder Woman game. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of like when they put out that Indiana Jones Machine Games trailer, which was exciting to find out that was coming, of course, but it's quite literally just a picture of his hat. It's like, it's coming eventually. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another game that we don't know much about at the moment, we had a little kind of interview, is Alan Wake 2. I didn't know this was even thinking about doing an Alan Wake sequel. I thought there might be a Control sequel, which probably is going to happen as well. But Alan Wake 2 wasn't much, a little kind of CGI trailer. A bearded Alan Wake turns to the camera, looking like Bradley Cooper, I thought, in that film with Lady Gaga.
A Star is Born.
Yeah. I'm looking at it again. I thought, is this Bradley Cooper? Oh, we got A Star is Born, the game. It was dead in that, wasn't he? Sorry, spoiler. Yes, Alan Wake 2. coming in 2023. So there's a release date. Did any of us do the remaster of the Alan Wake game here? Reviewed it? No.
I don't know if we got it, did we?
Oh, we didn't get it in the end, did we? No.
I can't remember.
I like a bit of Alan Wake. I liked Alan Wake in 2006. I'm not that excited about it now. But I love Remedy. Sorry, James.
I think I'm more excited about A Star Is Born, the video game. Now you've mentioned it. Or any other game based on Bradley Cooper's career, but not Alan Wake 2.
The Hangover.
I'm no interest.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be a good game, to be fair.
Yeah, it would be very
That'd be a
good.
great co-op game.
Yeah.
Work together to piece together what happened.
That would be really good. Oh my God. James just got copyright on that in case someone does it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. William, you got anything to say about this?
No.
No, good.
I'm just sitting back going, I really need to play the first Alan Wake.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what you got to do.
It's multi-platform, so that's interesting. You know, the first was obviously one of the bigger 360 exclusives, but Remedy doesn't really make exclusives anymore other than Crossfire, which I'm sure we'll get into a little later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Now up to the next one I'm going to put. It's the worst named horror game I've ever heard, called Slitterhead. I don't know why I found that so funny. Exactly what it is. Yes. Sorry, William. Go on, you carry.
Well, I keep seeing him on the forums, and my eyes were glazed, and I keep reading them. It's like, okay, Interactive announces Shitterhead. I'm like, oh, cool. What's that? Slitterhead. And I keep misreading it as Shitterhead. I'm like, what, did it turn into toilets or something? How does that work?
Oh dear, yeah. This is by the. Is it the Silent Hill guys?
Mm-hmm.
It's the old Sony Japan studio that they shut down. This is Gravity Rush, Ape Escape, and they did Silent Hill, at least the head of it. And so they went off and formed this studio. Okay.
Did you? I'm going to digress here for a second. There was a bit when the director, forgot his name. They did a preview of his film.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro.
That's right. Yeah, he introduced an award and he gave a sort of Silent Hill kind of like weird things. I know he was involved in Silent Hill, wasn't he? That one that got abandoned.
Yeah, it was to do with PT, I think.
That's right. And he sort of said before the award, Silent Hill should be the best.
But this when he passed it on to Hideo Kojima, who's been rumoured to be involved with one anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there was a little wink there. A little hint.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Slitterhead. I mean, it looks all right. I don't know what else to say. It's exciting.
I think this was one of the better trailers from the night. It was very creepy. It sort of gave me slight Attack on Titan vibes with the way that some of the characters' mouths opened, which really freaks me out as an anime. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I think this one looks interesting.
Mm. We haven't got a date on this at all, have we?
I think in rumored 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like Parasite, the anime, but not as good.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I'm going to zoom through some of these now. I'm not going to zoom through. Nightingale. Nightingale. Can you not remember Nightingale? As I desperately try to remember it, but I've written it down.
Yeah, that was like a multiplayer thing from Aaron Flynn, I believe, one of the old BioWare GMs.
And it was a survival crafting game, wasn't it?
Yeah, survival crafting MMO thing. It looked okay.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a beautiful world. And they had that kind of mixture of that Victorian kind of like vibe to it, that steampunky vibe to it. Yeah, it looked... Yeah, I think the world looked great. I mean, I was a bit disappointed that it was a survival crafting game. I thought it was the FPS
Yeah, me
first
too.
of all. I thought, oh, this is good.
But at least there's no zombies.
No. Yet.
Who in State of Decay 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my disappointment with this one is not really fair to the game itself. Because Compulsion Games, their next project leaked out a few weeks back. And it sort of had like a similar monster in it and everything. I'm like, oh my god, that's Compulsion! That's Compulsion! We've seen Compulsion. And no, it's not the big new AAA Compulsion Games third-person action adventure horror thing. It's a decent-looking Minecraft MMO thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It should be fun. Somerville. This is a game that I'm excited about. This is my game of the thing. We've seen a bit about it before. We knew it was coming. We know it's come to Game Pass. Thought it was coming early 2022. But there was
I believe sometime in 2022.
Yeah, there's no date on it this time. And Somerville is the game where I think it's by one of the Inside people, isn't it?
Yes, he founded his own studio from Playdead, I believe, and he called it Jump Ship, because he quite literally jumped ship from Playdead.
And I love the look of this. This is great. Right up my street. Kind of beautiful narrative. Yeah.
It was interesting. Let's put it this way. I cannot wait for Somerville. I think this showing was amazing. I think the last showing was amazing. I was really happy to see it here. But when Jeff was like, this guy really wanted to debut his game on stage, and we've been talking since mid-2019. This is the 2.5. We've been talking for 2.5 years. I'm like, Jeff, man, you know he revealed it like 6 months ago on Xbox's stage, right?
Yeah.
This is like this looks amazing, but I'm like, no, that can't be Somerville. It has to be something else, because he's like, it's this new thing. And it's like, no, it is Somerville. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It looks good. Richard, it looks fun, doesn't it? Not fun. It looks deep, dark as hell.
No, it does look interesting. Certainly keeping my eye on this one.
Do you think the dog's going to survive?
No. If history's taught me anything,
the dog will go.
I think only the dog survives. Everyone else dies.
That would be good. I like that.
define survive, because it wouldn't surprise me, knowing some of the stuff that Playdead has done, that you see the dog and all these other characters die if you mess up in gameplay, but they do quote-unquote survive to the end of the story.
That's good.
That way they have cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. The next bit, which I didn't know anything about, but I don't know much, is Cuphead Dlc. And the DLC stands for, what does it stand for?
delicious last course.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And it's a whole new island, isn't it, that you go to with, to play. It's not Cuphead 2, it's DLC, but it's a big DLC chunk, isn't it? Did any of you play Cuphead? I've never played it.
Yeah, I played it.
Oh, what's it like, Richard?
It's very hard. There's a lot of enjoyment from replaying the same bosses and trying to understand how they move and how to counter-attack them. So in that sense, it's much like, the Dark Souls games and everything, to give it a really poor comparison. But yeah, it was mainly the art style that I bought it for, which really didn't disappoint. It's just a visually brilliant game to look at. I admit that I got to one boss and couldn't finish it, so a friend of mine bossed it out on my account for me.
Nice friend.
But yeah, I'm excited for a bit more Cuphead. I was hoping that at one point that it was going to be some of the Netflix stuff, because am I right in thinking Netflix is still working on a Cuphead TV show?
I think you are, yeah.
There.
So I was hoping to maybe see that, but yeah, more Cuphead's not a bad thing.
No, it's a good thing. It's coming June 2022. If you can handle the pace. Have you played it, William?
I have not.
No.
Let's put it this way: if they put it on Game Pass, I'll play it. But it's one of those things that I know I'm not going to be able to beat it, so I'm not really inclined to drop a bunch of money on it.
No.
I don't know.
No. But it's good, excited for a lot of people. And now I'm going to take a back seat here completely. Sonic Frontiers. Who wants to start? Who wants to talk about this?
Ooh, I think at this point I was nodding in and out of consciousness, but this one looked very. We knew there was it was heavily rumored that there was a Sonic Frontiers game coming out, but I think this one looks like it's going to be open world, which I have no idea how that would work as a Sonic game. Because Sonic games are all about linear, go as fast as you can. So to have it in an open world situation, definitely shakes it up a bit and is intriguing, very intriguing.
Could it be like a sort of Mario world? Those when you're just zooming around and then you'll get to a level and then you're.
Oh, well, like a hub
Yeah,
world.
like a hub world, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Around, yeah.
They have dabbled with that before, so I remember Sonic Generations sort of had like a hub world, a very basic one. So, yeah, it's something they have looked at before. But I don't think I think Sonic Frontiers seems to have this open world area on a much larger scale.
It's quite a dark trailer, wasn't it, James? For a Sonic game.
It was a bit, and I'm not really too fond of the idea of open world. I mean, I'm quite a purist with Sonic. It's 2D Sonic or no Sonic for me. And it goes against everything that it stands for. And I will not be looking at it any further. I'm out.
Right. William? Sonic fan?
I really do admire the Hedgehog. I think he's done a lot of great stuff. I like the movie. I like the Genesis games. Adventure has some potential in it, even though it hasn't aged the best. I think all the 2D games on the handhelds were really good, and now we're seeing Mania was amazing. But come on, Sega, just come on, man. I love you guys, but you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel here. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. You don't have to sit back and go, well, what if it was like Mario Galaxy, because that didn't work? Or what if he was a big giant werehog, because that didn't work? Or what if we put all these custom characters in this and we have to design the levels around, because that didn't work? And it's like, and now they're like, well, sorry, what if we tape up his arms and it's this brawler, and that really didn't work? Or this Final Fantasy type game, and that really didn't work either. And now they're like, well, what if we made Breath of the Wild, but with Sonic? I'm just like, just make Sonic. He runs fast, he goes through loops. It's like, this shouldn't be that hard. He jumps on enemies. Like, you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel here. You have a character that people like. I'm not saying be lazy, but be lazy a bit. You have a formula that's worked in the past. Just do it. It'll be fine. Like, Colors was really good, and Generations was excellent. Just do more of that. It worked. People like it.
Good.
No.
Now, when I brought this up, I didn't realise it was going to get such passionate responses from both James and William. It's like a manifesto. It's amazing. Good. Sonic. There's another movie coming as well for people.
That looks so good. Yeah.
I'm going to go into a game we know about, but we know a little bit more as in a release date, is Tchilla. We didn't know there was nothing else in this trailer that I felt that I hadn't seen before.
No.
You could be a torch.
Every other Jeff Keighley event as well, this game's popped up.
Right.
I remember speaking, I think this must be the third time I've been on a podcast where we spoke about a new trailer for it.
Yeah. Same.
in the space of about 12 months.
Oh dear, have we really? Oh god. Okay, so it's coming out in spring 2022. We won't talk about it till then.
What
Good.
game was this? Sorry,
Tchilla.
Chiller? Which
Chia.
one is that?
It was a little kind of family game. You go around an island, parachuting and being.
Oh yeah,
Seagulls.
that one, the PlayStation one. Right?
Yeah, PlayStation only. Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
No,
yeah.
Richard's got passionate about that one. It's passionate. Well, I like the passion today.
I think it looks good, but yeah, I'm just like, stop showing me the same old stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Look on the bright side, no more Oddworld and Deathloop after this. We don't have to see them every show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
A game we did see now, we're getting to some big ones, is Suicide Squad. We had a kind of strange introduction with an actress playing Waller. What's her name?
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller.
Wilson?
Who did a brilliant job of just keeping it together, but it wasn't. It came in and sort of like played this thing. She did a very good job of doing it, but like, oh, don't do stuff like that. I hate stuff like that. Makes me cringe a bit. But she did a very good job.
It started so awkward, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was great. But she did it really well.
Definitely.
But then we saw. I mean, we saw more stuff there, didn't we? I think we saw gameplay in there. Is that fair to say? Yeah. So
Our first one.
yeah. William, were you impressed? Did you like the look of this?
Yeah. Ultimately, it looks like Sunset Overdrive, but with the Suicide Squad. You know, I'm not quite sold on. I just admittedly don't love the Suicide Squad as characters, I think, as much as a lot of people do. But I have no reason to not have faith in this game because it is Rocksteady. And Rocksteady are amazing devs. This is their first game since Arkham Knight, at least, if you don't count the Batman VR thing. But, like, yeah, I really want to see what they do. And it looks good. It's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, the action stuff looked great, didn't it, Richard?
Yeah, the moments with the Flash, like a corrupted Flash, really funny. So, yeah.
Richard, what do you think?
I can't remember this trailer.
This is a full-on action trailer. This is just
I
dropped off.
I must have missed this one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right. James, you're a big Suicide Squad person.
Even more so since I watched the film recently. The new film. I think the characters seem to have enough differentiation between the kind of combat they did, which I think helped. I like seeing King Shark jumping from building to building, like the Hulk. That was quite cool. And I know we saw the Flash, but if we did really go through the Flash, maybe kill Wonder Woman, maybe go for Batman eventually. So I think it would be quite good seeing the cutscenes for the different characters that we're going to face off against. But it seems to have plenty of humour, and that always helps with the game.
I totally agree.
Humour and gore.
My only problem, the only thing I worry about, because I think it looks great, it looks fantastic. It was a trailer cut for a 14-year-old boy. What I mean by that, it was lots of action, lots of humour, and I'm sure I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they have different variations in that. I hope they do for the whole time. It's not just one note. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's Rocksteady. They're very good at storytelling, so they won't do that. But yeah, I'm sure they won't. But it looked great. It did look great.
For them, there's a lot of their writers went off to Xbox, went off to Halo Infinite and Fable. So hopefully they still have really good replacements and everything.
Yeah. Forspoken, which we know about, we saw another new trailer for it. It's a PlayStation 5 game. And we saw a little bit more of that world, actually. It made a bit more sense, didn't it, I thought? What I mean by that, we saw other people. Before, it was like her sort of bounding around this fantasy world. We saw a bit of her in the last trailer in New York, and then go to this fantasy world. But now there was a lot more of her with a kind of in a story within a different civilization. fighting kind of
yeah.
humans. Yeah, it seemed a bit more. I've always been a big fan of this. I remember Richard and James hated it. I've always been excited about this. I think this is going to be good. And it's coming out on May the 24th, 2022. That's going to be delayed, isn't it? I think that won't make that. I don't know why I think that. Yeah, but
they've had enough time. I mean, if we're on about Tachia popping up every time, then we need to give a shout out to Forspoken popping up every Jeff Keighley event as well. But I mean, from initially disliking it when it was known as Project Athia, was that?
Right. Yeah.
Certainly, seeing a bit more of the story has got me a bit more interested. And from what I remember of this trailer, again, this was around the same time as Suicide Squad, though. She was sort of in like a courtroom or something.
That's right, yeah.
And seeing the contrast between her as this more human-looking character and some of the other characters in full outfits and stuff. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. William, are you interested in this? Would you be playing this on your PlayStation?
Maybe. I'm not quite sold by what I'm seeing yet, but it looks fine.
I like the use of kind of like action, and I like the use of magic was in there as well. You know, I know there's platform and stuff. I kind of like the world. I just like new worlds to explore. It's something of interest for me. But yeah, I don't think it's grabbed a lot of people.
It's not what I wanted to see from Square Enix, which is why I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah,
but,
of course. Yeah. I'm not even going to ask James about it. He hated it last time. I don't think his opinions changed.
I was wondering where the cat was. There's a cat in the previous trailer.
James, you can talk to me about Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Let me just check my notes. I didn't make any.
We've dodged a bullet there, William.
It was what about the actor holding the gun? Poor sod. These poor actors.
Yeah.
He was enjoying that, though, I think.
I'm sure he got paid well.
The actor, my best quote is when they said to him, if you know a lot of my stuff, you see that I've been to dark places. I went, Jesus, what do you mean? That looks all right. I think that looks quite fun. It looked visually, it looked quite good. Yeah.
Like the first one was by Relic, I think, and so this one's by Saber, which is interesting. A lot of people really seem to like the first, and so they were happy about the second one. It was like the most viewed trailer on Xbox's channel over even Hellblade, which I found surprising. Let's put it this way. Anyone can make a Warhammer game these days, it feels like. They make so many of these, and so it's hard to necessarily judge quality based off the IP alone when there have been some really, really crappy Warhammer games.
Yeah.
But I think you just need to look back, see what Saber has done. As they said, they've worked on Halo. I believe they've worked on Gears. That might have been Searing Infinity. They've worked on Quake. And so I think that's a very safe pair of hands to make this new game. And so it could be very good.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
I think it looked good. Looked good. It looked interesting. Saints Row, we saw, I think, in my opinion, a trailer that said, don't worry, we're still doing the crazy stuff trailer.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We saw a lot of mad stuff. We saw people dressed up in different costumes, flying, all sorts of things. It's coming out in August. We'll see you then.
Saints Row.
Saints Row.
It's more Saints Row.
Anyone want to say anything about Saints Row?
I've never played a Saints Row game.
No, there you go. I'm not going to do the next one I've got highlighted because I can't remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Steel Rising. You got Steel Rising?
Yeah, that's
What's
the
Steel
new
Rising?
Spiders game. Technomancer Greedfall, their next thing. It's some automaton and alternate history, 18th century France action, Souls-like RPG thing.
I did like the look of it. I thought this is quite interesting. Yeah, it was a mixture of the robots in those times. It was very 18th century. I really like that. And it's coming out in June, supposedly. So yeah. Let's talk about the Matrix. Richard, will you have the blue pill or the red pill?
Oh, dog, because I can never remember which one's which.
Nor can I. So The Matrix, basically the new film's coming out soon, and so at this precise moment now, you can download a sort of 15-minute demo with Keanu and Carrie Lee Moss. Made that up. And basically it's shown off Unreal Engine 5. It's kind of a bit like a promo for the film as well. And it's mixing that whole thing of, it's 30 gig. You're mixing that whole thing of like you're watching this demo, but you're playing stuff, and it's on rails, some of that stuff, but it gives you an idea about the future, what the games are going to look like on this Unreal Engine. And you can download it right now on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I've just downloaded it. Just started downloading now.
Oh yeah, you're gonna want to see this. It's very impressive. Like they have a whole city the size of Los Angeles completely procedurally generated, and yet it looks really good. And the team at the Coalition actually made this epic. They made the Xbox version. So in case anyone says, "Oh, Microsoft's taking them off to do a PlayStation thing," no, they made the Xbox version and really optimized it for the platform. It's exciting stuff. Just turn off the Matrix filter, and that's all I'll say. Look, it makes it look like the movies, which is cool, but it also takes away that next-gen sheen. Once you take it away, it's, oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great to see these kind of things, how they're going to look. It just looks especially on that engine, it's amazing. Now, let's have a quick chat about, we have a little sub-chat here, briefly about, so the Halo TV series, which we knew was coming, was shown. It's coming to Paramount in 2022. Is that right?
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be good. I think the TV series of Halo. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Can we just have a quick chat about the Halo game at the moment? A little sub chat. Who's played the campaign? Who's had a go at it? William.
I have.
How did you get on with it? Any good?
Okay, I have to. Can we swear here?
You can swear, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. You might have to believe this. It is so fucking good, and like I'm sorry, like it has reached the point where I cannot think of a descriptive verb better than that. Descriptive verb, adjective, whatever. It's so good. Like it sort of takes the structure of a Crackdown campaign and the openness of Breath of the Wild, and then merges it with Halo gameplay, that core minute-to-minute, 30 seconds of fun, amazing sandbox, amazing gunplay. They nailed it. Like, it seems that every 343 package prior to this had one thing that was really good and one thing that was lacking, you know? Well, 4's campaign was really good, but that multiplayer didn't live up. Or 5's multiplayer, that is the best out there, but man, they really dropped the ball on the story. They got both the multiplayer and the single player so right here. Like, this feels like classic Halo taken to the next level. It feels like you dropped the silent cartographer in the second mission of Combat Evolved and said, this is your vertical slice. You know, this is your demo, like for Hellblade. Turn this into a full game. And that's what they did. And it just feels so good. And it's exciting. It's fun. Like, even clearing out Ubisoft towers and camps, which I normally find boring as sin. Because it's Halo gameplay, it works really well, and they give you so many options. You can go in stealthily. You can bring in a Scorpion tank or a Wasp from your fob when you have unlocked enough, and you can just start raising hell with some Marines. And it's just so fun. It's just so fun. Like, the best way I can put this, Forza has almost consistently won Game of the Year. I am really wavering if I give it to Halo this year.
Okay, there you go. Richard, you've had a go?
Yes, I've got to the open world section now. The first two missions are very old school Halo missions. So the first one you're running through God, what is it now? You're running through somewhere, and it looks very familiar. And then the second one's a Forerunner base, and it's all the triangular structures and the hallways and the doors and everything. And then you almost have this thing at the start of the open world that's very much like whenever you step out of a vault in Fallout for the first time, and these massive doors open, and you can see the open world in front of you, and you're just like, wow. And then there's a base that you need to sort of take over, which then becomes your base of operations, basically, in this open world. But I sort of got to the end of it where there was only one enemy, and I just went running. I'd spent a lot of time clearing it out, but I was happy to run in for this last enemy. I was like, I don't care if I die or not, because if I die, I get to do it all again. And I died, and I was like, yeah, I get to take over this entire base again, and it was just the most fun.
Oh, that's good. I like to hear this enthusiasm from you two. James, have you been playing it?
I barely touched the Xbox in a week, so no.
When I had my teeth out, I woke up at 5 o'clock and I played the first 2 missions. I've not got to the open world yet, but I agree, it's really good fun. It's great fun. Yeah, good. James, I'm going to ask you about the TV series. Are you excited about that?
Not really. I didn't see enough to get excited. And it's Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Another subscription.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah. I don't think this would have been made unless The Mandalorian was very successful. Just because the main character behind a mask. But yeah, it's we'll wait and see. I'm going to move us along here. Arc Raiders, which is by some of the Battlefield people, isn't it? Ex-Battlefield people.
Patrick Soderlund, I believe, the old EA CEO and DICE lead. This is his team.
It's a co-op, isn't it? It's a 3-player co-op PvE kind of like game, isn't it?
Yeah, free to play. Yeah.
Is it free to play?
It is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It looked great. It did look good.
It did.
Yeah, really good. I thought we were kind of going across the planets has that kind of epic feel to it. Yeah, that's great. Free to play. James, are you excited about this? You fancy it?
I mean, it's free.
Yeah.
So it's worth giving a go. It reminds me a little bit of Defiance, a little bit. Just because you're going across the world in a team. But yeah, I didn't know it's 3 players. But yeah, a co-op game is good for me.
Yeah.
Always interested.
Good. Arc Raiders. Then we're going to just talk briefly Star Trek Resurgence, which is by some of the Telltale team who all got made redundant, but sadly. It's a Star Trek game, Resurgence, in Telltale universe, isn't it? What made me laugh about this, first of all, was the trailer made it look like an action adventure. It ain't going to be like that. Just be you staring at people making choices.
Yep.
It was like a really... they try to make them crouching really slowly, walking quite like a big action thing. It made me laugh.
There were a few quick time events and that's it.
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
No, James,
I got excited when it said from the makers of Batman, Game of Thrones, and what was the other one? I can't remember. It said a few of the Telltale games. Yeah, I thought, oh, what could this be? And it was Star Trek. I thought, oh well.
But
Maybe next time.
he's going to get loads of people who are big Star Trek fans. Richard's a Star Trek fan.
Me.
Richard is.
Think about me.
Are you Richard?
Am I?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. I can be if you need one, but I didn't watch this trailer.
Oh, there you go. So, well, there was another Telltale. This is from Telltale, The Expanse, which is the popular TV series about space politics. That's got one as well. William, do you know about The Expanse? Have you seen it?
I've not seen The Expanse, but that said, like, I don't think this is a good idea. I'm sorry, I don't. And it's nothing against The Expanse, but this is exactly what killed Telltale the first time. They were just like, oh, that's a big thing. People like that show. Let's make one of those and make one of those and make one of those. It's like, one at a time, guys. We need to see Wolf Among Us 2. Just
Oh yeah.
Get your heads together, get one done, and then maybe sit back and go, well, let's do the next one. Like, you don't have to make a whole bunch of these at once because something's popular, because that's what killed you the first time. Just please pace yourself, please.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I forgot about the kind of wolf one. That would have been brilliant. A Plague Tale Requiem saw another trailer. As I've said before, that was probably one of my favourite games. My biggest regret is I never gave it 5 stars. Richard didn't write that wrong for me when he reviewed the Xbox Series X version. Richard, you played the first one. You liked it a lot. This is good,
I did.
isn't it?
I gave it 4.5 stars, so I was nearly there. But no, I was hoping that they were gonna show something for this because it's due out next year. So yeah, I was glad that they did, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's all right.
Sorry.
No, it's good. No, James, what do you think? You haven't played the first one, have you?
I haven't played the first. It was hard to really get interested. I mean, I'm sure it's great. I would like to play the first one. I kept thinking of the character from the Suicide Squad. You know, with the rats.
Oh, yeah.
I kept thinking of that and thinking, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this is, so...
No.
Oh, well.
William, you're going to save me here?
Okay, that's it. You two are off of the reviews of the next one because Plague Tale was undeniably a 5 out of 5. It was a perfect game. I mean that. It was so good. Yeah. I love the team as Sobo, and this looks even better. They're adding combat to this now, but they have those stealth elements. It looks like Missy and Hugo have been aged up maybe 2 years or so. They've seen some dark stuff. Like there's one moment where Missy is like to Hugo, "It's okay, you've seen worse than this." I'm like, oh god, poor kids. Like it just looks so good, and they won Game Pass, so we all get to play it. You know, no excuses.
And when that shot of them kind of walking through, I think that was probably going back to the past again. They seemed a bit younger than they were in the first bit, and they're running through that field with the tree, and it was like, wow, this looks good. This is so pretty. I mean, that first game is a gorgeous game to watch, and seeing the kind of rats come, it's just Is it still on Game Pass the first game? Maybe.
I don't know.
I'll have a look. I might play it again. Fancy playing it again now.
I have a friend that's obsessed with The Last of Us. He puts The Last of Us up on a pedestal, and I'd be like, nah, you need to play a Plague Tale and then come back to A Last of Us.
They're both good, Richard. Blimey.
Yeah, but the Plague Tale's interesting. It's like The Last of Us on a smaller budget, but doing that also allowed them further creative freedom. Like, I think The Last of Us is a very impressive game with great story, but I really do think that A Plague Tale nailed the gameplay element too. Yeah,
it's the gameplay that does it for me.
Yeah. Didn't give it a 5. You didn't do my do my bidding. Well, not my bidding. What I did say to you, please give it a 5.
You did, and I was a 5. I was a 5 up until them last few chapters. Just got a bit too much. Yeah. But you'd said that in your review as well.
I did. Fair enough.
Just to confirm, it is on Game Pass.
Brilliant. There you go. I might do it again.
Nice.
Not that I've got 100,000 games to play. I'm gonna finish on my bit here. I'm just going to really briefly go through the awards, and you can just say anything you agree. Game of the year was It Takes Two.
Brilliant. Yep.
Yeah, we really loved that, didn't we?
Second best one. Psychonauts was completely snubbed, which hurt. Yeah. But if it had to go anyone else, It Takes Two was the second best one there. And we got Ferris to come back and give a speech and go on the whole Oscars rant again. That was amazing.
Best action adventure game was Metroid Dread, which I've never played, so I can't say if that was a thing. But that was a surprise, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, Metroid Dread sort of came out of nowhere originally, and it got really good reviews. The only comments I'd heard was it was a bit on the short side, which, in terms of a game, you can't really hold against it anyway. But I think it was up against some stiff competition though. Was that one with Ratchet and Clank was in that one as well?
Yeah, Resident Evil.
Psychonauts.
Yeah, Psychonauts.
Yeah. So it did well to get out of that.
I've got what have I got here? Best narrative Guardians of the Galaxy, which James has played.
Good call.
Yeah, good call.
Play that.
Yeah.
Life is Strange, I thought was going to win that. But Guardians is good. Best multiplayer, It Takes Two. Best music, Near Replicant. Can't remember any music.
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah.
I've never really sat and listened to it. So.
I played Nier Automata and loved the soundtrack of that, so I can understand why he won that one.
Best RPG, Tales of Arise.
Good call.
Player's voice, I put here. It's a player's voice. Halo Infinite.
This was the one everyone was kicking off at. That game had been out 24 hours and won an award.
Yeah, good on them.
But in fairness, a lot of that was for the multiplayer. You know, the multiplayer came out on the 15th, even if it was a quote-unquote beta. It's like, it wasn't a beta. But people love it, and rightfully so. I've logged far too many hours into this thing already. So, Forza got my vote, but again, that was only because the campaign wasn't out at the time. Now, it's a bit more of a toss-up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go for a quick few more. Best art direction is a Deathloop, which is pretty about right.
Over Psychonauts and
it's a good looking game, and they do some really interesting things design wise. Level design is fantastic.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Deathloop is a very good game. And it's got a very nice style to it. But like, when you take a look at Psychonauts and you play through the level where everything looks like it's come out of a book, and then you go to the neon-drenched bowling alleys and all of these different things. I can't in good conscience give it to Deathloop here. And again, Deathloop's not a bad-looking game at all. It's Arcane. They always make good-looking games. But
what's the game with the guitar? The indie game that you reviewed, I think.
The Artful Escape.
I was surprised. That didn't win anything, did it? In the end, I thought that should.
No, it got snubbed to Kina, and then. Yeah. The Twitter account just started getting angry, which was kind of funny. They were sitting back going, I'd rather be testing guitars for 3 hours than watching this show. I'm like, oh my god.
That was a fantastic. I thought the design and the music for that was just amazing. Best action is Returnal. I've played Returnal. I think that's probably right. It's very, very good.
Why wasn't it nominated? It beat Deathloop for action, but it wasn't nominated. It's kind of like when Disco Elysium beat Outer Worlds for Best RPG, but Outer Worlds was Game of the Year and Disco Elysium wasn't. I don't get it sometimes.
No. Best performance was Maggie Robertson for Lady Dimitrescu. I can never say it.
Dimitrescu?
That's the one.
I think that was the only slam dunk award of the night. Like, you would have put a lot of money on it being that one, but I think a lot of the other ones were more contested.
Yeah,
I really like Juliana and her actress, so we've picked her.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Yeah, good bunch of people there. Best indie game, Bridge of Spirits, which I've not played at all, so I can't really comment on that.
Artful Escape should have won at least something, and Forgotten City should have been up for more.
Yeah.
Don't play Forgotten City. That's all I'll say. Really.
Very good, isn't it? What have I missed out, you three? James, have I missed anything out you want to talk about before we finish?
Rumbleverse. The wrestling, fighting, was it a Battle Royale game or something? I don't know what it was. It was stupid. I thought it deserved a mention.
Good. That's a good mention. Richard?
There was Tunic that I really liked the look of, like this platformer as a fox. I think that came early in the night. That's due for release in March. That looked really good. And also, quickly, I want to get the name right. Metal Hellsinger announced.
Cool.
Yeah, announced some of the people singing on it, which, as a filthy malehead, got me very excited for that game. And I think the trailer had Randy Blythe from Lamb of God singing on it, and sounded really good. So I am now very much invested in that game as well. And also Tiny Tina's Wonderland. We didn't mention that, but I have no interest in playing that. So, but I just thought it was quite a big game.
Yeah, I don't know why I missed out. I just couldn't. I just didn't know. There wasn't anything. William, have I missed anything?
Yeah, a couple things, unfortunately. Planet of Lana, which was early on in the pre-show as well. That's an exclusive coming to Xbox. That looks amazing.
It does look amazing.
I'm sitting back going, if Moon Studios aren't going to do Ori anymore, these guys should do Ori, because this looks amazing.
Yeah.
Crossfire X, that's finally got a date, February 10th. That seems like a really good date, because February is a really dead month for nothing to play. So good thing we've got another game in February to play. But no, it's a fun game. Interestingly, Microsoft's no longer publishing it. It's Smilegate now. Don't know why. It's still Xbox exclusive, but that's worth mentioning. And then I guess as the last bit, there were a couple awards there and award speeches that were just really weird. And I mean this honestly, I think back to when Forza won Innovation in Accessibility, which was a well-deserved award. And they're just like, oh, and by the way, it won Sports and Racing. I'm like, well, who was nominated in that category? Why are you just saying, oh, yeah, it won that? And then Mike Brown, who is a sweetheart, he's amazing, comes out and gives a speech. He's like, I'd like to thank this, and they tell me to cut it off already. I'm like, so you have time for 5-minute Amazon Luna ads, but you can't give the man more than a minute to speak, let alone the person with him?
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
Are these the game awards, or are they the game advertisements?
Yeah.
And I think this year more than any has shown that divide. Even Ferris only had a minute to speak, and he won Game of the Bloody Year.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, they did it. It didn't exactly that. It didn't become the awards were secondary. They were an afterthought. It was the other stuff that was more important.
It's been changing that way over the year, and more people tune in for what gets announced as opposed to seeing who the big winners are now.
Yeah.
Us included, I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of the awards, I mean, in the pre-show they did a lot of esports awards, which maybe it's an age thing, but I just can't give a toss about.
Well, they have their own award show too that's pretty big, so even there it's just kind of like when the Golden Globes shows TV, it's like, okay, well, nobody's watching this for TV. They're watching this for the movies, and then they're watching the Emmys for the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, and just on the awards show as well, it's just hard to be excited about them when games like Forza get snubbed because, God forbid, they came out a couple days before the cutoff, and Halo doesn't make it until next year, even though it came out this year. It's like, okay, well, you're missing 2 of the best rated games of the year, and the winner of your People's Choice Award, because you've rushed this, and the awards just more than ever feel secondary.
Yeah, too right. Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. That's good. And where can we find you if we want to speak to you, James?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at OKGKO.
Good. And Richard?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Dobbo1912.
Good. And William, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at William J. Caruana, and please come visit my blog, xboxcollective.wordpress.org. It's for grad school. I really need the views. Don't worry, I'll be back with a bunch of stuff for the Xbox Hub right after this is done this weekend. And check out my Rune Factory review as well. Go play that.
Very good. Very good. And you can get me on GB Brady at Twitter and Twitch. But for now, we're going to see you next, everyone, on possibly the 19th. We're going to do our games of the year. We don't know. We might be doing it on video as well. Ooh. But we're going to have a look. I need to get the software. Right, gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.